So here are a few lessons that I've learned from all of my experience at gaining 102 subscribers on YouTube in the span of 11 years. You're gonna need this. Hi you guys. Oh my god! Okay, so by the time that you're watching this video, the main community would have made it to 5,000 subscribers. Now I know 5,000 is not a lot to some people, but let me tell you about the amount of work that has gotten to rallying 5,000 of us. Even though all 5,000 of us are not always engaged, it's all good. Sometimes it's not the people, it's the algorithm. It's what the system pushes, but I'm so forever grateful. Anyway, so what you're looking at right now is me retwisting my hair or renewing my twist. So this is one side. No, so this is the old side. This is what it looks like. And this is what I'm retwisting. I can't help but think about where I would have been had I just stuck to it. Be mindful of the level of sabotage that we do to ourselves when we don't believe in ourselves, when we don't take that leap of faith, when we don't have absolute certainty that we can get something done, when we cannot visualize for the life of us ourselves on the other side of success. Anyway, welcome. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna be more consistent. Bottom line is, whatever it is, the time is now. And so if you're already part of the community, I just want to say thank you for being here and just sticking with me throughout all of this. You've seen just how imperfect everything has been. I don't know what I'm doing. And I've been very transparent with sharing with everyone that I don't know what I'm doing. And guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna figure it out together. Like, there was one time I was detangling my hair dry and this girlie just said, well, maybe you wanna not comb your hair dry. Literally, my channel is YouTube University. Okay, this is better. And so literally, my channel is YouTube University. And you are the people that make this channel the university that it is. Hair University. Maine Natural Hair University. Yeah. So my goal for this channel is to show just how imperfect the journey is. You know, because a lot of times with social media and stuff, you get people's like highlights reels, you get the good parts, the positive parts, the successful parts. No, this channel here is going to show all the mistakes that we're gonna make. You're gonna see me and hear me say some crazy things and do some crazy things with my hair, and then you're going to intervene and interject with love. Right? You're gonna let me know you might not wanna detangle your hair dry. You're going to let me know I think your hair tangles a lot because maybe you need a trim. This protective hairstyle has worked for me and maybe it's going to work for you. You're going to let me know, because this again is a journey of learning, not just for me but for the other girlies that are watching, and even for yourself, right? You know, as you're contributing, that's if you're an expert, if you know what you're talking about when it comes to hair. It's also a journey for you. So let's get in there. We're all in different parts and different phases in our journey. There's going to be no judgment. There's going to be no pushing of an agenda. We're not going to pressure anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. We're going to be encouraging people to show up and show out as their authentic selves within the phases in their journey that they are in. If you've gotten this far and you haven't subscribed, I think you should subscribe. One thing about me is you're never going to see me behave in the extremes, if that makes sense. Like, you're never gonna hear me say I'm never gonna wear a wig, and you're definitely never gonna hear me say I'm never gonna have my natural hair out. I'm gonna be okay allowing myself to evolve and allowing myself to fail when I need to in order to evolve, right? I'm gonna do my best to do my best, basically, but I'm not going to be perfect, and I'm not going to expect perfection from anyone. One thing too that you're not going to see on this channel is we're not going to be test subjects and guinea pigs for all of these different hair products that are on the market. Something is released, we just run and we grab it and we put it on our hair. All these, there we go, propaganda I will no longer subscribe to. My cabinet will not be this place where I hoard all these products that I don't use, that I think I'm going to use, that are going to expire, and that I'm going to trash before even opening, right? My cabinet is going to be just what I need, what works for me. That's it. I'm not going to be a test subject for different hairstyles because that leads to over manipulation. There is this natural hair YouTuber who's really popular. and she was talking about quitting YouTube, and one of the reasons she gave was just the amount of manipulation that we do every time that we show up on camera and we want to show people the different hairstyles that we're working with. How did I do this? How to do a leave out, how to do these cornrows, how to do these braids. And every time that you show people how to, you are manipulating you're stressing your hair. You are stressing your hair. You need to let your hair to breathe. You need to let your hair to be, you know what I mean, to just thrive, you know what I mean. So as much as you care for your hair, you also need to allocate enough time for your hair to just breathe. And so that's what we're going to be conscious about. I'm not going to be showing up here any longer showing you guys all the different hairstyles that I do, and then before you know it, I'm gonna get another hairstyle and I'm like, oh, let me try this too, and then I have to take down the previous hairstyle just to install the new one. And then we start to complain about why our hair is stagnating, why the length is stagnating, why our hair is breaking off, is, you know, is dry. We're complaining about all these things when the whole time this is a problem. So keeping our fingers out of our hair as much as we're also keeping it connected to our hair. Does that make sense? Yes. Oh, something else to expect too from this channel is we're going to have hard conversations. If you've gotten this far and you haven't subscribed, I think you should subscribe. We're going to have conversations where we all don't agree with each other about. Why? Because each of our journeys is different. If there's one agenda that I want to push on this channel moving forward, it is that we are all different. We cannot expect all Black women to be this monolith, to be this one-dimensional group of people, right? We are all different women, different lived experiences, different traumas, different achievements and successes. We're all different. We think different, we look different. Our hair are different. Even within our own hair, we have different textures within our own, you know what I mean? So if one product is going to work for you, it doesn't automatically guarantee that it's going to work for the next woman. If a certain protective style works for you, it doesn't automatically mean that it works for the next Black woman. If wigs do not work for you, that's a conversation we have to have, I think. And sometimes we might have to disagree to disagree. Sometimes we might have to agree to disagree on. If wigs as a protective style does not work for you, it's possible that it works for another woman, and you can condemn her. But then we can also talk about all the exploitation that's happening with the day-to-day stuff that we use that's not wigs, right? So if we want to point one finger at one girly, we have to think about the other three that are pointing right back at us. So just showing each other grace, you know what I mean? And understanding that each of us knows what works best for each of us. Trusting that each of us will know what would work best for each of us. What we're also going to do with this channel is we're going to start asking hard questions, not just having hard conversations, but asking the hard questions. And that includes looking at our hair beyond it just being our hair, right? Looking at how our finances are affected by our hair habits, looking at how our health is affected by our hair habits, how our mental is affected by is bigger than hair, right? So what are the different angles and the different things in our lives that are affected or subconsciously shaped by how we treat our hair, by what we think about our hair. So we're going to be asking the hard questions, and we're going to go just a little deep. Challenge ourselves to go just a little deep. One huge thing that we're also going to do is that we're going to not just build consistency, but maintain consistency. If you've gotten this far and you haven't subscribed, I think you should subscribe. For me, it's going to come in the form of me showing up, right? I'm realizing just how much these conversations are helping girls that are going through the same thing as I when it comes to hair, right? If even girlies who are not going through it, who have either already gone through it and are on the other side, or don't even realize that they have a dysmorphia for their own hair, right? I'm realizing just how important the conversations are and how much it helps to just show up. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, Nadia. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just show up. You know, you might look a little crazy. You might say some crazy things, but just show up and let's have the conversations. And I feel like this is an extension too of representation. The same representation that I'm just like, when I wore those cornrows, remember, emotions that I feel like me doing that evoked on women that look like me. It's like, why not just keep showing up? And I think that is one of the main ways that we're going to see progress within any aspect of our lives, right? So for me, it might be making these videos, even when the videos do not do well. You know, sometimes I'll spend so many hours on a video that I'll post and it'll get 400 views, and I spent hours on that video. But guess what? We're gonna keep showing up because You know, we're not trying to go viral. We're not trying to reach all these millions of people. We're trying to change just one life, one mentality. And this is something that transcends just content creation and hair. Literally every aspect of our lives. You know, whether it's a business that you're trying to start, whether you're trying to go back to school, whether you have this like side gig that you've been trying to get. The more I show up, the more I realize that I'm refining things, you know what I mean? Like I'm realizing what doesn't really work and I'm realizing what works better. But the only way that I'll refine the process or refine all the different things that I'm doing, all the different ideas, is by continually showing up, because that's how you learn. You learn from showing up, you learn from failing, you learn from seeing what works versus what doesn't work, right? You learn to change, you make edits, you know, you learn to optimize things a little bit. But that only comes from continuing to show up. When I first started, when I had like 102 subscribers, I think I was at 36 videos. And then when I got to right now at 5,000 subscribers, we are at 106 videos, or 104 videos maybe when I hit 5K. You know, so from 36 to 106, what is that? 70 videos. So in order for me to have gotten to 5,000 subscribers, I had to post 70 videos. 70. So imagine if I had no videos. If I was at the same place last year that I was the year that I started to be consistent again, right? I would have been 5,000 subscribers shy, or whatever the difference is between 102 and 5,000. But it might not take you as many videos to hit your milestone. You know, you might be even more successful. You might pay more attention. You might spend more time with your dreams. And that's something that I don't think I still do at this point, right? It's like I want to do so much, but I don't dedicate the time to you know, to doing the work. And I think if I did, maybe those 70 videos would have actually propelled me more, you know, more further along. But I didn't. But that's okay, because we're gonna keep showing up and we're gonna keep doing the best that we can, right? Because this is not a perfect journey and we're not looking for perfection. So what are our next steps? Where are we going from here? What big plans do we have for the channel? What's our next milestone? I think our next milestone, I don't know, should it be 10K? I feel like that's so far out. Let's say our next milestone is 7,500, and then after 7,500, then we're gonna shoot for 10K. I can't wait to see where we're gonna be at 150 videos, and where are we gonna be at 200 videos. So I hope that you're here. If you've gotten this far and you haven't subscribed, I think you should subscribe. And finally, what is coming soon? I really love to write, so a blog is coming soon. I'm looking for something tangible for you and I to own. So digital products are coming soon, physical products too, but I don't think I'm there yet. But it's churning. The ideas are churning. So as soon as those are ready, you're gonna be the first to know. But the only way you're gonna be first to know is if you stick around. I know there was a time for Black women when doing your own hair was taboo, either a sign that you couldn't afford the salon or that you had no one around you who cared enough. No sisters, no cousins, no aunties. Because on that chair or between those thighs, bonds were protected. Imagine where I'll be in 5-10 years if I were to start today.